Okay guys, so it's time to summarise and do a review on Season 8A of Fear the Walking Dead. I will never get used to saying Season 8A. I can't wait to say Season 8B because Season 8A is a bit of a mouthful. So this season I thought was like, it was Look, I don't really know what to say about this season. It was definitely better than Season 5, Season 4 and Season 7. And I think that it was probably, like, when I watched it, I was, like, frustrated at some points. But I never, like, hated it when watching it. Though I never loved it. Which, I was never expecting to love it. But I was always hoping to like it. And at least I didn't hate it. I think the season, the very last episode, set up some good stuff for Season 8B. So I will start talking about the negatives and I will end with the positives. So, put my notes there just for you guys. You can't see them though. So, I thought one of the huge things that Fear the Walking Dead does, which I've talked about before, and if you watch it, you know, it's too contradictive. The show just contradicts itself. And I have one nice, dead simple example to give to you that will perfectly summarise exactly what I mean that happens all the time. So in episode 1, Grace calls the Padre boats to collect Morgan, Madison, and Mo. You know, she's not having any of it. She calls the Padre, she calls backup, and, you know, any chance that they could have started some kind of breakaway from Padre didn't end up happening. And Grace really, respectfully, doesn't give at all. She really doesn't care. So that's, you know, whatever. Like, I don't, like, if that's the way it's going to be, let that be the way it's going to be, you know, at least stick with that's how Grace is going to be, and that's how she was. Episode 5, Grace, we learn that Grace apparently had like a little hut or something where she was collecting materials to hopefully spend time with Morgan and Mo there and be a family. Which makes no sense, because in episode 1, she called Padre to collect them, but yet in episode 5, we learned that she's always been thinking about reuniting. And when she had the opportunity, she didn't care. Now, whether I'm remembering it wrong, and whether she already called Padre before knowing who it was, but then I think I do remember her saying that she did know it was them. Point is, the things she could have done, clearly it was ridiculous, and it was just what they did on episode 5 to make us feel bad for Grace. I don't know, to maybe make her think, like, oh, Grace cared or something. I don't know, but, like, so many of these contradictive things happen, and Season 8 completely did it. That example pisses me off, and that's just one example, so that is a big negative, a big red flag. Another thing is, it feels too forced. It feels like you're writing an English essay, an English paragraph or whatever, and you need to use language devices, so you slot them in. And it makes no sense, but you've used the device. It doesn't, well, it might, I don't know if it counts exactly, but point is, it's not nice. Like, yes, you use the language device, but was it good? No. Like, there are some set pieces and things that happen that are quite alright. You know I've seen people cry at certain parts of this show, but getting to them set pieces, like Grace's death in the train, getting there is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's not like there's a very nice way they got there and everything's lovely set out for this to happen. It's like, no, we're going to do this. This is going to happen. That might make sense. That might not make sense. You know, like the teleporting is a huge thing. Like people would just go anywhere they want for any reason. Like if you compare it to John Wick, if you watch it, there's a lot of big locations they travel to in the future sequels. And it actually feels like they travel from one place to another. They didn't just teleport. There feels like there's been a bit of time or something in between. Whereas Fear the Walking Dead, one moment you'll be on the train with Grace, the next moment you'll be in the houseboat with Madison. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of times you just get move places. Like, it pisses me off so much. And like episode 6, the final episode, does it so much. It does it too badly, because when Morgan goes red and he's clear, or I don't care to remember, like, but when Morgan goes red and his mind's all clouded, we literally teleport to different situations. And they even kind of try and address it, but they don't address it. They just kind of say, we're aware it's ridiculous, but guess what? We don't give a shit. Because when Mo gets Morgan inside the houseboat, Morgan says, how'd you even get me in? Morgan says, how'd you even get me in here? And Mo's like, that doesn't matter right now. It's like, yes, it does matter. Yes, it does. It makes no sense. It's so stupid. Like, Dave Erickson would never do that. Never, ever would Dave Erickson do that. Just makes me so annoyed. So yeah, clearly that's a big issue as well. What else is another issue? The character 180s, because Mo does it the worst. Morgan does it all the time. And he did it in this season too so many times, but Mo, oh my god. Half the time, I can't even remember how she feels in an episode. Because I'm thinking back to the premiere, and I'm thinking, okay, so Mo definitely was skeptical at first. But then by the end of season 1, at the end of episode 1, wasn't she trying to convince Morgan and Grace to not call Padre, to run away? But then episode 2 or 3, Mo just doesn't care again. And then episode 4, Mo's the one that calls Grace or something. Like, then they all have King's County and Mo's happy again. But then she starts doubting herself again. And then she's happy again. And then we're on the train and Grace dies. And Mo's not happy again. But then episode 6, Mo's happy again. It's so ridiculous the amount of time she goes back and forth between her feeling a certain way. Like, it goes beyond like normal. Beyond the situation is terrible. I will give wiggle room for a bit of annoyance, because you have to, like, that will happen. Like, your mind's all over the place, but it happens too much. Usually it's Morgan that does that, and he does do it this season too, the back and forth, and the random 180s that just happen for no reason. Lack of convincing, I don't know. They'll say, like, come on, Morgan, you can do it, and he'll be like, yeah, I can do it, yeah, come on. And it's ridiculous. It's frustrating. You know, like, I've already given multiple examples of certain things, and it all builds up into frustrating. It's weird. It's so horrific. Like, it's horrific, some of the things that this show will pull out of its ass. It really is. But I do have some good things to say, and so I will do that. So, 3 characters that I want to give a special mention to that, in my opinion, made the show somewhat happy. There's one character that I think you could already guess, but there's one character that saved this. Like, I would genuinely I probably would give up on the positives and would just say, we'll see what 8B brings, if this character wasn't here. And the other 2 characters are characters that I just think helped. So, Madison, I absolutely loved. I thought they actually did not make her that bad. I thought she wasn't the Madison that we knew, but she was similar. She definitely was still a badass. She definitely was still confident. She was definitely still a leader, even though she had that stupid line, I'm not the leader you deserve or need. Even though that was, there's problems sprinkled all throughout, but Madison was just fantastic. I really loved every second of her. Madison was so bearable. She was so patient. She was everything to me, and she really did make season 8 something. I don't know what I would be saying right now if she wasn't in this show. I mean, maybe Alicia could have heard it, but would Alicia have even been, like, here? It took half the season to see her in season 7, so I don't even know. But Madison, of course. And June and Daniel. I know Daniel, we didn't see a huge amount of him, but an OG for your cast. I thought he was good. I thought what he stood for was good. I thought he was, again, bearable. And even though they 180'd his personality, or not his personality, but his illness, they clearly 180'd that in some respect, then, you know, it's again a bit of a negative. But I liked seeing Daniel. I really enjoyed seeing him. So that was nice. And June, I thought that June wasn't that bad. I don't think I've ever had a hatred for June. I think season 4 June, Naomi, whatever you want to call her, was a little bit dodgy. Season 5, I didn't really care about her, but season 6, when she killed Virginia, was alright. Season 7, I mean, yeah, okay. But season 8, I thought she was fine. I liked what she stood for. She wasn't annoying. She was a character that I never had a frustration with. So yeah, they're three characters I want to mention. Dwight and Sherry as well. I didn't mind them. I actually quite enjoyed my time with them. Do I think they were as good as those three characters? No. But I did like... I mean, again, it's another negative, but I did kind of like the relatively quick turnaround Dwight and Sherry made. I do feel bad for them about what happened. I feel bad for their situation completely about within each other and with Finch. So yeah, they were alright, but June, Madison, and Daniel were three characters that I really enjoyed seeing. And June obviously took center stage in Blue Jay, and I would say Blue Jay was actually good. Like, I can complain a lot, but I don't think anything I've complained about necessarily fully falls into Blue Jay. Again, Dwight and Sherry had a pretty quick turnaround in that episode, but I thought Blue Jay was quite dark at the end. I thought it was quite sad. I thought June was great. I actually would say Blue Jay is probably the best episode of season 8A, and June was a lead in that. So there you are. They're three characters I really liked. I'm happy Madison was back as well. That's just like a separate point rather than Madison being herself. Like, just her presence in Kim Dickens, that's just a big positive. But again, not like the writers wanted to bring her back necessarily. Like, come on, like, she probably was only brought back because Alicia was leaving. The deaths. I think the deaths in this season were actually the first part of the season. I thought they were great. I actually will sit there and say the deaths I thought were good. So Spike, I forgot her name. I call her Max. I don't know why I call her Max, but you know who I'm on about. The curly-haired lass. Her death was terrible, but also really good. I'm glad she died, is the point I'm making. Her death was a little bit pathetic. Like, it's not the fact that Morgan and, I forgot who was with her, like Madison or someone. It's not like they didn't save her. But, because I know lots of situations in The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, someone's seen a loved one, and someone else has been there to kill them, so they haven't been bit. And obviously no one was stopping Spike or whatever from, like, not getting bit. But I thought her death was a little bit stupid. Because, like, I don't know, I just felt like there wasn't enough build-up to make her... Like, they did build up enough to say she was upset about her dad. Like, I got that. But did I feel she was, like, so upset that she just decided to she decided to practically kill herself as soon as she saw him? I didn't buy into that at all. I thought that was a bit pathetic. But look, she died, and I'm happy because it was a death that wasn't led on. It wasn't carried on. It's not like she's had another chance to die and that failed. So it's all right, whatever. Finch, I thought Finch was probably the best death. I thought Finch's death was sad. It was quite minor, but it was sad. I think it meant a lot for Dwight and Sherry. And whether we see them in season 8B, I don't know. But it really, really, really was, like, sad for Finch's death. I actually did feel bad because Finch almost felt like such a monumental character. And in some way he is, but it's a shame, especially in season 7 and Dwight and Sherry being pregnant and learning about that and thinking the whole arc and what could happen, We thought Sherry was going to die with Finch in her. But yeah, Finch actually grew up in Padre, and then, they get back together as a family, and Spike's, right dickhead, gets Finch bitten, and sadly, it just wasn't enough for June's help because he was so early on in the understanding of the cure. For Grace's death, I thought Grace's death was good. Grace's death was a main character death. The only sad thing I have about Grace's death is that she only joined the show in the crap era. So, and again, like, I know the show's been going on longer in the crap rebooted era, but I actually felt sad for Grace because I was like, no, she never really got to actually be a good character. Like, in season 6, her episode, I don't know how many episodes if she had another starring role, but that dream episode where her child dies in season 6, I hated that episode. I will not watch that. It is the most boringest, most dragged episode I've ever watched of a TV show. It is terrible. So, like, it just built, like, I already hated Grace in season 5. And then, season 6 Grace was infuriating, and that episode just completely brought it on for me. Like, I completely hated Grace. And then season 8, she kind of just, like, she's there, and I actually didn't mind her. And when she died, I was kind of sat here, and I'm like, yeah, she never really got to actually be a good character, in my opinion, so it's sad that she died, but I'm more upset about her wasted potential, because she could have been a decent, nice person. But no, I didn't like her, sorry. But yeah, Grace's death was also quite good. I guess it means a lot for Morgan as well, because, you know, like, it's not like Morgan's dying, but it means a lot for him. And more. I'm sure if we see them in a spin-off, which I'm sure we will, Grace will be a driving factor possibly behind their motives. Plus, it would be weird to see Grace, like, it'd be weird to see Grace alone without Morgan and Mo, but it would also be weird to see Morgan, Mo, and Grace all go into a possible another spin-off, which is also maybe a kind of hint on why Grace died, because maybe they didn't want her in another spin-off, but, like, she's not like she was just going to let Mo and Morgan go off alone, so there you are. But I thought overall the deaths were bold. I thought they were interesting. I thought they were like the 100. As a huge praise I have of the 100, the deaths, at least in the first 3 seasons I'm watching so far, they're actually good. Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead can kind of get lost in a trap, and the trap can kind of be, you don't kill off the right characters, or you kill off the wrong characters. And I think season 8A killed off the right characters and made it entertaining. And so when I watch it, I always know there's going to be a death here or something mad here, and it just makes it a little better for me. So I thought the deaths were quite a big positive. I thought that it was probably one of the better seasons of the rebooted era. Like I say, better than 4, 5, and 7. Even if it's ridiculous and I could complain about it for hours, I still think it was, like, better than season 4, 5, and 7. I think season 4 and 5 are grainy, they're ugly, they're horrible. Morgan's at his absolute peak worst. I think season 7's just all over the place and has no respect for the radiation rules and is just crazy. But I think it's not in front of season 6 at the moment. If the second part of season 8 is that good, it could possibly do so. But I think right now it's behind season 6, but maybe like above season 4 or 7, you know? And I think I actually would rewatch every single episode so far, because each season had like an episode that's so undeniably boring, like the one I mentioned just from season 6. Season 7 had quite a few. There was like that boxing lady. But season 8 hasn't had an episode that's been really boring. I've actually enjoyed each episode, so I can't say too much about that. And I guess a final point is it kind of sets up a lot for season 8B with the last episode. Like, season 8B actually feels as though we're going to have a very fear-focused ending to Fear the Walking Dead, rather than a Morgan and Friends focused ending. So in terms of, I am excited for season 8B. I'm excited that we've got all of this over and done with now, and hoping now when we see Strand and Luciana again, which, again, it's another negative that they weren't even showing up for half the season. It's ridiculous. They should have shown up for half the season, but sadly they weren't there, but that's just another negative. But hopefully when we see them, possibly Troy, finding out about Alicia, season 8B could be good. And so, because it comes off the back end of 8A, I kind of can give 8A a little bit of credit. But look, that's a whole different part of the season. Even though it's all season 8, you never know what the contrast could be between A and B. But thanks for watching this review of season 8A. I know it's been a bit all over the place. This season so far has been all over the place. I've had to, like, proper think, like, did I enjoy it? Did I not enjoy it? Like, I think there's mixed opinions within the community as well. Like, some people absolutely hate it, and some people are saying, yeah, it's actually really good. I actually liked it. I even loved that episode. So it's a bit all over the place, and I think it'll take a bit of time to really settle into, like, what people actually think about it. But thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.